So today we're wrapping up the Spitfire. So we got the car off the lift, and I was really surprised at how close my eyeball alignment was. The steering wheel was just slightly to the left and less than a 1/16 off on toe in. Amazing. That'll never happen again like that. But now what I just need to do is, since the steering wheel is just a little to the left, we're gonna have to take this side and take it out maybe a quarter, half turn, and bring the other side in quarter to half turn. And that will get the steering wheel straight, and I'll have to take it for another test drive to make sure. So I went ahead and took this thing for a test drive because I wanted to make sure there was no other issues that we needed to deal with before I finished the last of the details. And I wanted to see how the steering felt with the new rack. It feels a little tight yet because brand new rack, but it wasn't self-centering at all. It was like a little darty on the road. And so we went ahead and checked the Castor, and most of the Castor had been dialed out of this car. Positive Castor will help with self-centering when you let go of the wheel, but also makes the steering a little heavier. So I'm guessing that the previous owner probably dialed it out, accepting that it was going to be slightly dartier and have to self-center it more, but to give it less steering effort. So what I did was we dialed some back into it to try to help that. When we got in here, there was two shims in here in the front on this side, and there was just one on the back on the other side to give it to take some of the camber out of it. But when you put them in the front there, that pulls the bottom ball joint back a little bit, which takes Castor out. So we took those two shims out. I put one in the back side on this side and then one on that side. And we went from, I think about 1.5, 2 degree range of positive Castor to like 3.5 range. I'd still like it to see it center itself a little bit more than what it's doing, but at this point, I think we're gonna get it back to the owner and see how comfortable he is with it, because we don't want to keep adding steering effort to it. And if he's comfortable with it just like it is, we'll leave it alone. If he would like a little bit more self-centering, then we'll get some more shims and adjust it at a later date. But I'm looking for a happy medium because the car was darting around so much with the sloppy steering, it's hard to tell what it was doing before anyway. So, in addition to the Castor helping the steering effort, by putting the shim in here, we're pulling this out this way a little bit. That bolt that goes through here was actually touching the header, causing a rattle. And by moving it out some, it helps pull it away from the header a little bit. And it still may rattle yet because it's awful tight down there. But if we do any more shimming, it might help it even more. So the carburetor adjustment is really close. In the cold weather like this, it can be a little difficult to get them right where you want them. But got some minor tweaking to do, get the air cleaners back on there and get the idle zone zeroed in. But we did notice we had a little bit of a weeping right in here. So I put a new hose on it, and we need to watch that to see if we have any more weeping here, because it could potentially be the fitting, because the hose looked just fine. And that pretty much wraps up everything under the bonnet. So inside the car, we got the gauges swapped back around, got everything working, got the light back over here into the tack for the turn signals where he wanted it. And it's now, everything's working exactly like it's supposed to. Four-way flashers are working just like it's supposed to, turn signals, horn's working. And I wanted to make sure, even after test driving it and stuff, that all that stuff was still working before I went ahead and put the last of the screws back in here. Plus, he brought me his radio. He had it converted to all modern electronics with Bluetooth and all that stuff in it. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there. And then I can finish putting all this stuff in here as I put the speakers, wire the speakers in and get all that put back together.